Okay, hello. So, today we are continuing working on our fence line. The last few days it has been cold and rainy. Luckily, we've been warm in the camper from the heater, but it's just been very rainy, and this is like the first day in a few days that we have had the sun poking in and out. So so yesterday we went to the store and we picked up some wood. So this is our trailer full of wood that we packed. We have like a little drop cloth over the top of it because like I said, it's been raining, and so last night we got a good amount of rain, so we didn't want any of it to get wet, so we just tossed the drop cloth over it, and then we had some scrap pieces of wood and pavers and whatever we could get to make sure that it doesn't blow away. But the trailer is jam-packed with wood. Like, this is like the edge of it, and it's just flush straight across. So we have some 2x4s on here, and then we also have some 4x4s because we are working on extending this. So we have enough 4x4s to completely extend this halfway to the middle of the property line. And then we have a bunch of 2x4s. We have about 50 2x4s. So the 2x4s are going to be our slats. And then inside the car, we also have a bunch of brackets and basically everything that we need. We had to go and get like new screws and all that kind of stuff because we finished using the rest of our screws on the play area. So we needed more screws to go ahead and be able to attach the brackets, and then also attach the wood to the brackets so that the brackets wouldn't move and all that good stuff. So I was out here earlier with the kids. They're taking a nap really quick. Once they wake up, it's probably gonna be lunchtime for them. But I was out here earlier with the kids, and while they were playing around, I was attaching the bottom layer of the brackets. I did not film it because, one, I have to still attach 2 more layers, but also the layers are very low to the ground, and I didn't want to have to deal with the camera and being that low to the ground. Okay, so these are the posts that are on this property line. These are the only posts that we have in the ground besides our entrance post on the other side that's holding the gate. But these posts have been in the ground for almost a year now, and pretty much they're all still standing up pretty straight. No cracking. The cows on this one, you can see where it's a little bit lighter. I'll have to come back and restain that because the cows decided to use it as a scratching post last time they were out. So I'll have to just restain that. But the other posts that we have in the ground, we have about 12 more. That's where we did the little mini auging of the holes going all the way down. That will get us all the way down there, which is halfway of the property line. So once we get the slats and the rest of the post in, then we'll make another trip to the store and go get more. But this is what I've been working on today. I went ahead and attached all the lower brackets on. So they're attached on both sides of the post. I did end up finding some string line. I thought we were out of string line because we have this one here, and then we have another one that's all knotted up that we had used to run the line when we were setting the pillars foundation up here. But I ended up finding another set of string lines that we had that was inside a little box where we keep all of our tools and everything. So luckily I had another one. So what I ended up doing was the way that our property is, I don't know if you guys were here when we graded out this driveway that's up there. Our property, it came up at a slope and then it comes back down. So the high point on our property is there, and then it starts to slope and level out once you get towards the middle of the property. So with that in mind, I wanted to make sure that my lowest point for the brackets wasn't going to be too low as we continue on, because what we're thinking is that once we hit about 100 feet in, our property is about 197 feet from front to back. Once we get about here, we're thinking that that second half we might have to do a step up, where that just means that these posts that are here are probably going to be at a little bit higher of a level than the rest of them. And then also the bottom slats will probably end up being, I guess, lower. Does that make sense? Yeah, it'll make sense later once we do it. But that's what we're thinking that we're going to have to do to make sure that everything stays even. But as you can kind of tell, so I went ahead and I stuck a slat in over here. I did that because I ran the string line from this one going all the way to the last one over here. Because since we have the brick wall up here, it's a little bit hard to run a string line on that side. And so I ran the string line, hung all the brackets, and then for that very last one, I went ahead and cut down the 2x4, and then I just leveled the 2x4 out and then attached the bracket that way so that I could get that last one. But if you notice, there is a nice big gap. There we go. There's a nice big gap between the bottom of the 2x4 and the ground. Once you keep going this way, you'll notice that the gap is going to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So like this is the last one over here. You can kind of see that small gap there. So the mesh that we're going to be using is a 48-inch mesh from bottom to top, and then it's 100 feet long. So we're probably going to bury at minimum 8 inches underground, and then we might go more than that, just depends. But so we'll end up having one mesh that runs here and then another mesh that runs there. And then one of the big things is that we were trying to decide if we wanted 3 or 4 slats. Our block wall here has 3 slats. When we did our little entrance, like the little on the other side, when we did the entrance where we brought it in here, we did 4 slats there. And so we were trying to figure out if 3 or 4 slats would be better. But to make our lives easier and to save money, we figured that 3 slats would most likely be enough, especially with the mesh being so tall. So I marked on one of these. I think it's on this one that I marked. So here is where the first slat's going to go. I made like a little temporary marking here, because I think that's where I'm going to put my 3rd slat. And then when we were talking about how high we thought we wanted it, we were thinking of maybe putting it here, because I think we wanted a place. I'm pretty much average height, and so I want it to be where if I was to stand on my tippy toes, the board would be right at my eye level. So that's what we're planning on doing so far. Okay, so right now what I'm going to start doing, since the bottom row is done and I don't have to squat down there anymore until it's time to put the slats in, I think I'm going to run the string line for the top board first, because I think that'll be easier, because then I at least can get my middle board in the middle, like eyeball in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but in the middle. And so that's pretty much what I'm going to be working on today. So, you know, we're going to be working on the fence forever, but our goal is to make sure that it's done before the cows get out. And I think we have finally gotten the materials, and now we're starting to get into our rhythm of making sure that we do the fencing. And so we're going to finish this side, and then I think we're going to then run the mesh on this side. Then we're going to start fencing in the back of the property. The back of the property is, I think, double the size of this one. Yeah, it should be about double the size of this one. So basically, this one side takes 37 posts, and that's with them being on average of 7 to 7.5 feet apart. This one takes 37 posts, so we should be probably about 70 posts for the back, and then we'll come around to do the side, and then we'll finish up with the middle. We are debating on if if we want to do the concrete wall in the middle sections, or if we want to do 4x4s in the middle sections. I'm leaning more towards 4x4s because I think it will give it a nice little look. Elijah really wants to do more blocking, but I don't know, we'll see. Kind of, you know, I think once we get the rest of the property fenced in, that will kind of give us like a little vibe. And then I told him, you know, if we end up putting slats in and posts in and you truly don't like it, you know, they're not concreted in, so we can yank them out and do the concrete. But I feel like it might be fine with just the post, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna go and grab my tripod. The sun's coming out, so it's starting to get a little bit warm, so I might take my jacket off. My shirt is inside out, so that will tell you what type of morning that I'm having, because we just threw on clothes and I'm like, okay kids, let's go play outside. And so yeah. And then when Elijah tomorrow, I'll need him to, because I think we have some more concrete screws. So before, this was the stopping point of our wall, and when we did the other side, the 56-foot section, we decided to make the corners higher so that they would match up with these better. So we added this block on the top here. We just used the concrete block glue and added it on. So I'm going to need Elijah to go and, you know, cut a little piece of wood, stain it, and then just, you know, like extend that piece, because that's a little too low for our highest point. So I think we have some concrete screws still around here, so we can get that attached. So you guys will probably see him doing that tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna go grab the tripod really quick. I'm going to then get a string line run on the top of the post, and then I'm gonna try to attach as many brackets as possible. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so the camera's rolling. I'm just gonna grab this block really quick because it's a little windy. Nothing crazy like when, like we've had some like crazy wind down here. It's nothing crazy, but I don't want like a big gust to come through and pick up the camera, because we have had the camera tip. Yeah, we have had the camera tip before, and that is no fun. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Gosh, this thing is heavy. All right. So, so I already have my string line down here, and I have my little line level down here also. But I'm gonna cut free the line so that I can adjust it. And then I'm not sure if our posts, they probably have moved a little bit, but when I was doing measurements just to kind of see, you know, what the average distance between the posts were, I did the bottom because I've been watching like fencing videos for like the past year, and they all say to start attaching your slats at the bottom. I don't know if this actually would work for us since we're using brackets. A lot of times when they were doing that, it was because they, a lot of times when they were saying that, it was because they, sorry, I hear dogs. But a lot of times when they say that, they are just screwing them in like halfway, you know, between the posts. And so each one will have to custom cut, even though we were using a template. They're still off just a little bit, like how this one is like way too short. So I'm just going to use this really quick so I can kind of get a feel for how high I think we'll want the post, because I feel like that would actually be perfect if I got it like right under. Yeah, like right under there. So I guess let me do it on this side. That'll probably be a little bit better. Yeah. And so Elijah has given me free range of this project. Okay, we're gonna put that there. See, now it's starting to get warm, and now I'm like, I should probably take my jacket off, but we will leave it on for now. So, I think we're gonna tie this probably about right there would be good. Let's go this way. So then I can bring it around this way. So Elijah and I have been itching and itching and itching and itching and itching and itching to restart up this part of the fence because we did a lot of blocking. We did a lot of block wall, but I think we're ready for some privacy from people now that, you know, when you're not on here, it doesn't really matter. But once you're actually on here, you're like, okay, I need a little bit of privacy. And right now we're just like wide out of the open and I'm not enjoying that. So I told Elijah, I was like, can we please start on the fence line again so that we can get some privacy, because mainly just privacy from people. Because the animals are fine. It's like we have the play area, so it's not like we're worried about like coyotes and stuff coming in, but we're inside. Once it gets dark, we're inside, or we're at least in the play area, which helps. So but I was like, I need privacy from people. We don't have a lot of people who pass by us, but occasionally we do, and we know that they're passing by being nosy. So I told Elijah, I was like, let's just get the fence done. And then we were only going to get 6 4x4s, which would have took us a quarter away past the property line. But I was like, no, let's go ahead and get 12 so that we can, the 12 will put us basically to where Terry is blocked. So that is where I'm just like, yes, please give us some privacy. Okay, I'm going to tighten this up just a little bit more. Oh, that's pretty darn good. Just one go and I have it pretty much spot on level from just eyeballing it. That's what happens when you run so much string line. You're just like, I already know what I'm doing. I'm very curious to see how much string line we've actually ran, because we've run string line when we first bought the property so that we could get the 4 corners marked. Trying to see where I want to attach this to. Probably put it over here. And then we ran string line for these 6 posts, and then we ran string line for, I'm just gonna tie this in there. We ran string line for the block walls, and I'm like, that's a lot of string line to run. So, okay, we are level. See, this is the easy part, is running this part. Like, this is the part I can deal with. It's just, the bottom is just, you just gotta squat. And I'm just like, after a while, your legs start burning. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. It's a little bit, I think a little lower than I wanted it. But actually, that might actually be good. I think that might be good. What do you guys think? At that height? I'm not rerunning it, so I feel like that would be a good, yeah, I went down just a tad bit, but because originally I was looking, it's maybe like an inch higher than I wanted it. See, this is the times where I'm like, Elijah, come help me second guess this, but he is not here. So, okay, I'm trying to think. I'm like, would I be mad if that was the actual height? I think I'm going to go up a little bit higher. We're going to go up just a smidge. Just a smidge higher. Oh, I think that's what happened. I think this moved down a little bit. So I'm going to go and adjust the one at the end really quick. And yes, I have sandals on. My work boots are in the container. And okay. Okay, so I think that would be, I think that's actually perfect. Okay, so with the string line now run, I don't know if it's looking straight to you. So this is our one wonky post that decided that it wanted to push out this way a little bit, or I guess bend a little bit. I bet you if I brought oh, I don't have my level with me. I gotta go get that at the car. But yeah, this is the one wonky post where all the rest are like touching nicely. And then you have this one, and this one just wants to be the problem child. I feel like my line is sloping, so I'm gonna see if I can tighten it just a little bit more. Like, it feels tight. Maybe it's just my eyes. See, like, this is like what takes like the longest, is getting your line perfected. Which is okay, because like if your line is not perfect, that will literally throw everything off. Okay, so I'm not gonna look at it again. It's good. So I'm gonna run over to the car and go get the rest of the brackets out. And then I'm gonna go look at the line from that side really quick, but I'm gonna grab the brackets, grab the screws. We had to buy like this big, huge box of screws because we were like, let's buy the biggest that we can get, because there's no point of us having to, I guess you spend more money the smaller you buy. So if you buy in bulk, you save more money. So we bought the wood slats in bulk, so that saved us money. And then we bought the brackets in bulk, which saved us money. So basically, the 4x4 posts that we got were basically free because of how much money that we saved on everything else from buying it in bulk, which is great. So I'm gonna go grab screws, drill, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have everything that we need. Drill, I think it's impact drill. I don't think it's, yeah, it's impact. Handheld level. I grabbed 12 brackets because I'm going to go ahead and just set each one on each side. These ones I'll end up setting by eye, since I can't run the string line past here. I did that with the bottom and they came out pretty much level, which was good. So I'll do the same thing for these here. And then I have the big box of screws. That's 5 pounds worth of screws, which is crazy to think that we need that many screws, but I think it has like 400 or 500 screws in this one box. Now these screws, they have the same star pattern as the other ones that we used, but one difference is that they are a lot thicker than the other ones that we were using, and they are a little bit longer for the entrance part of the gate over there, and then also for the play area. We had these that were 1 inches and they were a 6 gauge. We ended up shopping at the orange store. We usually don't, but we've been going there recently because we don't have to physically go into town to hit the store, so we get to avoid all traffic, and Lowe's is like in the middle of town, so we're just like, no. And so for some reason they didn't have any screws that were shorter than 1 inch. I'm sorry, shorter than 1 1/4 inch, or yeah. And then they didn't have any 1 inch screws, and then they didn't have anything smaller than 8 gauge in store. So we figured we would just go with these and then call it a day. But yeah, I think we're going to, well, I'm like, I think we're gonna get started, but it's just me. Just me over here being solo. You know, I need Elijah to go and grab out his little tool belt that he has, because I'm gonna start claiming that, and that's gonna be my tool belt from now on. So sucks because the sun is now on this side. When I was out here earlier, the sun was on the other side more, and let me tell you, the sun is in my face and I cannot see anything. But I'm gonna see how many of these I can get up before the kids wake up from their nap. Girly is, there we go. And then once I get this first one in, I'll bring you guys over so you can kind of see a little bit more of what I'm doing and what's going on over here. But if you've seen us set any of our other slats, it's pretty much all the same. And then for our 56-foot section of the wall, I think we're going to continue on that once we get back to that side of the property, as far as fencing in that side of the property. Because right now, like I said, we're gonna fence in this one side and we're just gonna work our way around the property. So that's when we're gonna get back. Also another note about these screws that we have, the head doesn't sit as flush as our old ones did. So, so I'll have to remember that when I go to cut the wood, because I want to make sure that I cut the wood a little bit shorter, because they stick out maybe like 1/4 of an inch out. Okay, so the 4x4s posts that are going in the ground, those are going to take us a little bit before we can get them in the ground, because we have to prep them all. And so that's going to take us the longest, because we are hand treating them, or I guess hand treating them, DIY treating them. I don't know. We're basically doing them ourselves, and so we have to wait a little bit in between the coats and stuff. So between the motor oil and everything else. Oop! I did not mean to move that. Okay. Watch when I go check these tomorrow, then they're all freaking crooked. Okay, and then we will have to get more of the, what are they? We're gonna have to get more of the lights for the top caps, because we only have a few that I had bought a long time ago. Okay. I love this little tiny level. Elijah's had this thing forever, but it has a little magnet on it to help keep everything from moving. I guess that's how you know that your string line is correct, because when you bump it and it goes right back in to where it was before. Okay, and so that's pretty much what we're going to be doing the whole way down. I think I might just attach all the ones that are on this side first and then come back and do all the ones on the other side. Now that I'm actually like, you can kind of see the bracket height, like I'm definitely liking the height that we chose. Okay, one thing on the list that we need is a weed whacker, or a weed eater, because we need to be able to cut the weeds up against the block wall, and then like also like around the posts and stuff. And then also we're attaching our brackets on, I'm hoping that you can see me, but we're attaching our brackets on the outer edge, so that the outer edge will be the flat spots. So we debated if we wanted the flat side to be on the inside, but when we put up the, I guess the gates, the mesh, whatever you want to call it, when we put that up, we want to make sure that all of the screws are on the outside, so that if something pushes into the mesh, it won't be able to push in, if that makes sense. Because if it's on the outside, it can push and push and push, and then it can potentially pull the screws out. You know, it would have to be something big to do that, but there's some big stuff out here. And so, especially when it comes to the cows, we are going to run bob wire I had to talk to Elijah about it again, but we were talking previously about running bob wire on the outside, so where the slats are, to kind of deter anything from rubbing up against. So like this middle slat, will stretch some bob wire, you know, going across the middle slat. And then also we may or may not, we haven't fully decided, we may run bob wire through here. We were talking about potentially electrifying our fence since we are going to be hooked up to power. That might be something that we are interested in doing. So tell us what you think, because if we do electrify it, we would have to determine if we want to electrify it here or if we want to electrify it up here. And so I haven't looked too much into electric fences, and ones that I've seen other people set up, I've noticed that they end up, they have like a 2-point method, I guess you can call it. And with the 2-point method, whatever is on the fence has to touch in 2 points for it to actually shock whatever it is. So I'm not sure like if there's like a 1-point shock. I guess if you guys are familiar with electrify fences, let us know. But ooh. One thing I have to say is that this goes a lot quicker when the kids are not out here, because I usually have to keep a quarter of an eye on the project that I'm working on, and then another quarter, and then a full 2 eyes, I guess 3 eyes on what the kids are up to. But for the most part, little man, he's clingy, so he doesn't go very far from me. And girly, if you give her something to do, like earlier I had her drawing on a block with her chalk and she loved it. So as long as you give them something to do, then they're good. And then him, as long as he's within, like, I don't even know, basically as long as he's under my skin, he's happy. So okay, I'm happy with this. I am happy with this. It feels weird because when you look out and all of a sudden you see like brackets up here, and I'm like, what the heck? It's weird because it's like it's just been post for so long. So and we're finally like, yes, brackets. So it gives us and it gives us something different to work on. Like, yeah, this next slat that's at the end that goes down here has to go right into that voided spot. So we are for sure going to need an extra piece of wood there. Okay, so all the ones on this side are done and they look relatively straight. We will for sure know when I go to put the slat in, because the slat will tell us if something is not straight. But I feel like after doing this with us doing it with the 24-foot section of the wall, and then doing it with the gate entrance, and then doing it with the play area, I think we have our slats down packed. And so one of the things, Elijah and I had a really tough time deciding if we wanted to continue our fence with these. We were deciding between these, and then they're called lifetime steel posts. Lifetime steel posts are about $30 some a piece, but you never have to change them out. These guys are $7 to $8 a piece, and so that's a really big difference. And so we were really debating. That's why it took us a while to decide to start back up on here, because we were like, well, we could rip out these posts and then replace them with the steel post, or we could go ahead and just continue with these posts. And then, you know, eventually, I do think they'll eventually rot out, and that's a lot to rot out, but they're not going to rot out at the same time. Some may rot faster than the others, but we did do some good preserving methods. And even now, I think, you can't see it now, but you can see like a little black tar where there's a two-tone difference, where you see the difference between the stain and then there's like a solid black line. That is the tar mixture. It's like a rubberized tar that we put at the bottom of the post. And so right now that's probably sticking about 1.5 to a foot above ground level, and it's still in great condition. I'm surprised, because even with it being out in the sun, like the sun hasn't peeled it. It's deterred. We haven't found like insects on here. We really haven't found anything crawling on the posts. We see birds sitting on there, but we haven't seen like termites crawling on it. We haven't seen ants crawling on them. Other bugs and stuff that we've seen around here, we don't see any of those crawling around on here. So it's interesting. I'm not sure if the mixture between the motor oil and then the black tar, and they start crawling up there, like, no. But they're pretty much solid in there. And then for us to know that, you know, the cows are rubbing up against one of the posts and it's still rock solid in there, it seems pretty good. But if you guys don't know, these are just tamped in. They're not concreted in, and they're not going anywhere. I'm interested to see how much sturdy they get once we actually attach the 3 slats, because right now they're like beast mode sturdy. So I'm curious what it's going to be like once we actually get, you know, the rest of the slats attached, because once you add the slats in, that's going to add an extra rigidness to it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these attached, because I'm over here yapping as if I'm not on a time limit to beat the kids from waking up. But I think I'm going to take my jacket off because it's a little hot. It's just a little hot. Okay, so while I'm trying to get this one perfectly level, I have a question for you guys. So, would you guys be interested in us potentially going live? And if you are interested in us going live, what day of the week would you guys would be best for you guys to join us while we are live? Because I think it could be fun. I'm gonna go ahead and attach these last the last 3, and then I'll show you guys what they look like, and then I'll see if I have enough time to run. I'll see if I have enough time to run a string line in the middle before the kids get up. Okay, so I have all the top brackets attached to the top of the post, which is crazy because kids are not awake yet. So I am like, should I push my luck? Should I go ahead and run my middle line, or do I want to start cutting boards? I don't think it's supposed to rain tonight, so if I did cut the boards, I could just leave them attached to the brackets. Main reason that I'm like, well, maybe I should cut the boards instead of doing the middle line is so that I could at least get a feel for what my middle line is going to look like by having 2 boards, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then I can kind of truly see if that's where I want my middle line to be. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to go cut some boards really quick. So I'll be back. Oh, let me show you. I was like, before I leave, let me show you the top brackets. So as you can see, I'm not starting where we are, but I'm hoping that the sun doesn't mess you guys up. But as you can see, we have all the top brackets on both sides attached, and those are pretty darn straight, if I do say so myself. Yep. And let's go to this last one. So this last one, I went ahead and eyeballed this one, but still got it pretty straight. I went ahead and eyeballed it because I have no line on this side. So I just went ahead and just eyeballed it. Same thing when I did the ones on the last board at the bottom, and eyeballed it also. So yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess, cut some boards, potentially. Okay, now that I'm cutting these, and since I have to take them over there, I'm thinking that I might run over to the storage and grab the stain so I can stain the ends of it. Because if I can get the ends stained, I can get them put in their bracket and they don't have to come back out, because then we can just stain the rest where they're at. So since the kids are still awake, I'm gonna run and grab that. I mean, since the kids are still asleep, I'm going to run and grab that really quick. Okay, we are definitely going to need more stain. Usually we stain with a rag, but last night we stopped at the store and picked up some little Dollar Tree paint brushes because I figured that that would be easier than having to use the rag, because after a while your hand gets cramped up using the rag. And so I told Elijah, I've never stained with the paintbrush before, but so I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? I think I hear tapping, so I think Girly might be awake right now. I'm gonna see if I can quickly at least stain the edges of this one so I can go get it hung up. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna need more stain. And then if you guys don't know, and you like the stain color, it's just the Valspar. It's a semi-transparent color, and then it's called the Darkest Night. So it allows the wood grain color to still come through and give it, and once the sun like it helps dry it out, it gives it like a smoky ash color, which is magnificent. So I'm going to see if I can quickly get as much of this edges painted, and then I'll check and see if Girly is awake, because if she is, she's probably ready for a late lunch. It's probably about, I don't know, 3 o'clock right now, almost 4 o'clock. And so we're going to do a late lunch because we did a late breakfast, and then we were outside for a super long time today, already earlier. So okay, I'm going to do the other edge, and then I'll flip it over If you guys ever need like super straight wood, I'm not trying to plug the orange store or anything, but Elijah and I were surprised when we were going and looking through their wood. It's very straight, oddly enough. All the other wood pieces that we got for the rest of the wall came from the other store. And let me tell you, the amount of wood that we had to go through. Oh yeah, here, girly. The amount of wood that we had to go through was ridiculous. This has a little piece of metal stuck on this side, so I'm gonna have Elijah pull that out for me. Okay, so I'm gonna stain this side. Okay, so I'm gonna finish staining that one last side. You will not see me put it up. I'm probably gonna go ahead and end this video here since the kids are awake and clearly, you know, they need some assistance. So I will go ahead and I will see you guys in the next video. I appreciate you guys for watching. Leave us a comment down below and I will see you in the next video. Bye.